So everyone, I absolutely love Zelda, and part of why I really like it is the characterization of Link. He's someone who doesn't back down, he goes through all kinds of horrific stuff, yet he still manages to somehow get the job done, and the original Link is canonically Christian. So there's a lot I really like about this guy, there's a lot I really respect about him, and the fact that both me and him have blonde hair makes him super easy to cosplay, so yeah, I really like Link. But I'm gonna be real with y'all. I wasn't always as big of a Zelda fan, especially growing up. And there was a point in my life, way back when I honestly was so stupid that I actually thought every single Link was the exact same character. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I assumed Toon Link and Twilight Link were the same guy. And in my defense, these four people are four different characters, okay? These are four different versions. Not four different versions of the same character, but four completely different people. What's even crazier is the fact that I could even tell you which one is which, okay? So, obviously, I have left my LARPing days of childhood behind. But, something that's always really fascinated me about Link being a different character is the Super Smash Bros. Games, because in those games, Mario is Mario. Luigi's Luigi. Donkey Kong is Donkey Kong. Samus is Samus. Pikachu is Pikachu. I think Pikachu is Pikachu. Maybe he's different in each game, I don't know. Kirby is Kirby. But when it comes to Link, he's different in all of them. In the first two, he's Ocarina of Time. And the Wii one, he's Twilight Princess. And currently Ultimate for the Switch, he's Breath of the Wild. And that is all of the Smash games. There is one more Smash game that nobody ever talks about. Nobody ever talks about this game, and I'm gonna be real with you, I've only played it a handful of times, but that is Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U/3DS. And Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U/3DS is one of the games of all time. Now, I'm gonna be real, I don't think this game is nowhere near as bad as people say it is. It definitely laid a lot of the groundwork for Smash Ultimate, but at the same time too, I really don't think it's all that great, and if I had a choice, I'd just keep playing Ultimate or one of the older ones. But there's something about this game that I cannot get over, and the more I think of it, it just really drives me crazy. But who the heck is this guy? Who is this guy? Does anybody know who this guy is? Because at first glance, you're like, oh yeah, it's Link. And typically what a lot of these games did when a Smash game would come out, they would have the current Link. You know, we have Smash Ultimate, okay, they're using the current Breath of the Wild Link. We had Smash Brawl for the Wii, okay, they're gonna use Twilight Princess. And same way for Ocarina of Time, you know, when that was the current game, they used that version of Link. So, who's this guy? Because this is not Skyward Sword Link, and when you first look at him, he kind of looks like Skyward Sword Link, he has the brighter colors, but when you actually look at him, he's just Twilight Princess Link with a recolor. And I'm so confused as to why this honestly is, why they chose to do this. And it's not like Twilight Princess Link was recent. At the point that this game came out in 2014, 8 years after Twilight Princess, and it came out 2 years before Twilight Princess HD, so this was in no way, shape, or form the current version of Link. Now, I also want to point out something too, that in every single attempt I have tried to figure out why they chose to do this, I can't actually get a good answer. Like, there's no good answer on Google. But I also want to point out, too, that I'm low-key kind of stupid. So it's entirely possible that Nintendo has addressed this like 20 million times, and I'm just not smart enough to understand or find that clip. So if anyone does know an official Nintendo side answer, it would be really nice to hear that in the comments. But a lot of the popular fan theories on why they chose to do this is kind of interesting. Some people say that the reason that we got Twilight Princess Link in this game instead of Skyward Sword is because Skyward Sword is more lighthearted, he's more brighter colors and all that good stuff. And that doesn't seem like a big deal till you realize that Toon Link also is in the game, and he's super expressive. So the idea is that they added Twilight to contrast them. And that's a really smart theory until you think about it for like 2 seconds. And the reason I say that is because this is not Twilight Princess Link. This is the Twilight Princess Link model, but in these brighter Skyward Sword colors. So what is the point of giving us Twilight Princess Link if you were literally just make him look like Skyward Sword? So I don't believe that theory. The other very common theory that I keep seeing pop up is that, one, it was just easier for them to bring over the Twilight Princess model, which I think is entirely true. And because the game also features Twilight Ganondorf and Twilight Zelda, it makes sense, and that way they didn't have to redesign them. But then, honestly, that raises some questions. Like, for example, Zelda is obviously different in Skyward Sword, but Ganondorf isn't in Skyward Sword, so I feel like they could have easily used Twilight Ganondorf, and for Zelda, they probably honestly could have just gotten away with using Twilight Zelda, and still given us Skyward Sword Link. And I understand that sounds a little weird, but that's exactly what they did in Smash Ultimate. In fact, Smash Ultimate is so weird because none of the Link, Ganondorfs, or Zelda really go together. The main Link is Breath of the Wild, the main Ganondorf is Ocarina of Time, and the main Zelda is A Link Between Worlds Zelda. So they were completely fine mix-matching the versions then, but not when this game came out. And ultimately, I do think that it really just kind of is a combination of all these things. I think it was a little bit cheaper for them to use the Twilight Princess model. And also consistency. But like, what's really weird is like, why even change the colors? Like, why give him the brighter colors? Because it's easy to go, oh yeah, it's just the Twilight Princess one, but it's not. I mean, that is clearly not Twilight Princess Link. And what's even weirder is, like, he's on, like, all of, like, the merchandise and the packaging and all the stuff for this game. Like, even the amiibo, the main Smash Link amiibo, there's been several Smash amiibos, because this one amiibo came out, and amiibo for Smash. He's the main one, and like, to this day, we still haven't gotten a really proper kind of like Smash Link amiibo. There is Toon Link and Young Link, but I don't really count those as the main versions of Link in the Smash games, but that's just me. So it's just weird, because we have this almost Frankenstein mix match of a Twilight Princess Link with the clothes, or not the clothes, but the color of Skyward Sword. It's just such a weird concept. What really makes this weird for me is it's not like, you know, okay, they based him off a previous game. It's like they based him off nothing, essentially, here. And Smash just doesn't really do that for Link. Typically, you know, they'll base it off like a previous game. Like I mentioned, they did Ocarina of Time, they did Breath of the Wild, they did Twilight Princess, but this is just like an in-between. It's also entirely possible that the team behind this originally intended to just use the Twilight Princess Link, and then someone at Nintendo came down and said, hey, you gotta make him look brighter, we want him to look more classic, more traditional Link, so that could have happened too. But what's also kind of weird is, like, there's none of Link's alternates in this game make him, like, darker, like his costume darker to look like Twilight Princess, which is so weird to me that they didn't just include that. But overall, this is just something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, because this is such an odd thing to me. Because again, you know, this is really a one-off, and this doesn't come back. Like, this does not return. This design does not return in a Smash game. It's never been a part of a Zelda game. So it's just like this really weird one-off design for Link, and I just think that's so cool and weird, and I really want to talk about that. And I feel like nobody really ever talks about this. I'm also low-key kind of stupid. I mentioned this earlier. So it's a possibility that every single YouTuber in the world has made a video on this. So I'm not trying to say no one's ever talked about this. Just up to my knowledge, I don't see people currently talking about it. And I really got the idea to make this video and think about it when I was just looking at my shelf and how out of place this version of Link looks compared to everyone else. Because it's just weird. Like, it's just weird, and it's just strange because, you know, every other Link has a backstory. They have a story. We know who they are. But we don't really know who this guy is. And I mean, obviously, he's Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword colors, but I mean, really, he is a completely different Link, because we just never really seen a Link like this. He's pretty much a Smash exclusive version of Link, and maybe that's all he needs to be. I don't know. Let me know in the comments.